call a customer, see how they're doing, check in on them, thank them. When in doubt, call a customer.
Welcome to the Howie and Beastmode podcast, where we discuss all things business, including growth, strategy, and execution, as well as personal and professional development. Let's join Howie and Beastmode in conversation.
So much going on, so many things that, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, the world still feels like it's smoldering. Fire's not out yet, but there's so much good. So just pressing in. So.
That's good. Glad that you are pressing in.
Yeah.
Sorry that it's on fire a little bit still.
It's all right, you just like the game when you're a kid, you pretend like the carpet's lava, and so you can't touch the carpet. So you jump from the couch to other things, and so that's what I'm doing,
show
man.
on Netflix about that.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah, the floor is lava.
Is there? Okay. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I may have to check that one out.
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Probably not the worst thing you could have said.
Yeah, I don't even own a television. So
what's going on with your business right now?
I'm having some employment issues that are really that's the big stir of why, not my employment, some employees' employment issues that are really what's causing the fire, and having to re-look at it and reevaluate several things at the same time is really just pressing forward in certain areas. So we were getting ready, and this was 2 weeks ago when we were ready, and we started really pushing for kind of a new growth opportunity. And we're really kind of, we've been providing insight and providing a lot of just quality content for about 6 months now. And so now we're getting to the point where now we're coming to the ask, where we're saying, and I really focused on my last kind of outgoing message and email.
But hang on a second.
Things like
so
that.
This is kind of a combo prospecting approach that you've been using to reach out to new customers via things like combination of LinkedIn and email and a call and stuff like that, right? Yeah. So
yeah. And so I've just been
a certain list, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so what I found is that, it's taken about 6 months. Doesn't mean that it should have. There's no way that it should have taken 6 months, or probably.
How many people are on that list, on that target list?
About 8,000.
Okay.
And so part of this is narrowing down.
That sounds like drowning to me.
Well, again, not everybody's in the same process. So we're walking everybody through about 100 to 250 at a time. And in that time frame, you're funneling down, you're pulling out who's not my client. It's very clear.
Good? So you're actually cleaning it up as you go?
Yeah. Love that's the whole point. I need to know who's my client. It doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be reached out to. It doesn't mean you don't deserve to have quality content. It just means you get no further, this is where we part ways for this.
So I want to make sure that the guys understand what you're talking about, because this is a little bit of an insider conversation.
Okay.
And I want to make it a little less of that. So what you've been doing since it sounds like the fall.
Yeah.
It sounds like the fall or late summer or whatever, is you've kind of had this large target list, but you've been taking chunks of it.
Yes.
And your team has been reaching out with personal messaging to people who might be possible, future customers, right? Prospects.
Sure.
And they've been reaching out with a series of value-added content, just
mixed in with engagement.
Now, what does engagement mean?
So this is where I think that we missed the mark, is that I have a 5-step process of how I want to engage and walk my potential customers into being customers. And so I'm making it all about me. Here's step 1, step 2, step 3. I'm providing content for you, and I'm providing beneficial insights for you, but it's still all about me, right? Yeah. And so what I'm doing is, in between all these steps, is I'm making it all about the customer, where it has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with JL or what we're doing. It's all about, I see you and I'm acknowledging you and I'm engaging you in what you're doing.
How are you
And I
engaging
think it's
them?
through social media, because that's the quickest, easiest way that we can double tap and let somebody know that we're paying attention to you.
Yep.
And so we're doing that, and through doing that, as we've gone through the process, their engagement increases as our engagement, as we go first with our engagement, and basically we're just as you said, we're operationalizing goodness.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Which you coined that to somebody else the other day. I saw it. I almost got offended, but I'm not going to hold it against you.
There's two things that it was the electric charger at Cinemark.
Yes.
Oh, it made me so happy. I'm so proud of them. They did that in a pandemic. It's overwhelming. And they've actually really annoyed me before. That annoyance is gone because they have operationalized goodness, just like you are. And then the other one is Nike, who they've annoyed me before as well. But I'm so proud of this trash to shoes initiative. In fact, did you notice in the comments? I'm sure you didn't. Someone said they bought a pair of those shoes based on my post.
Really?
Isn't that cool? And
so
that's
Nike,
part of what
Nike
is great.
gives you a cut.
Nike can just give me a high five. No, listen, I'm super proud of them. A lot of great people at Nike. They're always, sometimes they push the limits a little bit. But look at, what, people who push the limits in a lot of different directions. And this is a great direction. You just have to give credit, right? So I'm super proud of them. So I think operationalizing goodness is something that I've started to recognize. I almost took a picture today. I picked up, it's Tuesday night. I get my Buffalo Wild Wings, buy one, get one free. Across the street from them in Grapevine is a Original House of Pancakes. They also have a charging system. It's Blink Charging. It's a different brand. And I almost took a picture of them tonight as well. So I love what you're doing. You're operationalizing goodness. So don't be offended. Just be excited that you're with a very strong class.
Yes.
You're in a strong class.
Yes. So basically,
but I like what you're doing because you are. It's not like you're not prospecting, right? It's not like you're not trying to get new clients. It's just that you've decided to not be. You've decided to not be desperate, but to be value added. And not need them. You've decided. It's weird whenever you have a salesperson who actually wants to provide value and doesn't need you, right? It's like the Lexus salespeople who won't even come up to you on the lot, right? They don't. It's weird. If you go in there, or Mercedes, I haven't been to a Mercedes lot ever, but I have been to a Lexus lot when we had big ideas a few years ago. The ideas were way too big for us, but my wife was just like really shocked. Like they did not get. They were nice, and they were intelligent, but they didn't need us. It's very obvious. So I like what you're doing because you're leading with value, and you're leading with. Listen, I sell a service. I'm going to take the kind of thing that I do, and I'm going to give you pieces of that. And if when you run into that need for social media and branding and those kinds of things, you think of, and I don't mean Howie, I mean Beastmode, but think of JL. And if not, then I hope I sure helped you. And I really believe that about you, by the way. I do.
Yeah. And I've just really enjoyed the process of just kind of sharing, insights and wisdom and knowledge that I've learned, the same way, but just totally different. And I love the fact that I'm swimming upstream. Everybody's pushing their product, their service in one way. And it's just like, how do you stand out? You stand out by pushing it a totally different way.
You're a little early, but the future is in this direction.
And then what happened is with this last engagement is basically, it started vague, and it's just begun getting progressively more strategic, more narrow, more elevated in the knowledge and the insights and what you can do with it. And basically with this one, I just sent a 90-day plan. this is what 90 days should look like. Are you doing this? And it's almost should be a wake-up call. I've been looking at this, that everything looks great, the insights and the knowledge. I love this. I'm going to try to implement it. And then basically it's like, oh my gosh, I'm either going to have to buckle down to really implement what this guy's telling me, or I got to get help.
All right,
And
stay with me. Stay with me.
Yeah.
So basically, because I'm being a translator a little bit, because I don't know how you do what you do, but I know what you're doing. And
Okay.
I'm just thinking that the people who are listening know even less than me. So that's why I'm kind of standing in the middle. So what I'm hearing, and and part of the reason I pause isn't just to be a translator, but it's because I'm really proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I've seen the deck you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
So Beastmode and I do collaborate a little bit outside of this. Are you telling me that one of your nurture steps of prospecting and trying to add value to future customers and trying to give to the community is what people call that a lot? Are you telling me you're giving parts of your actual plan away?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Because it should,
Hopefully I could spill some more soda on myself here.
well, what it should do is it should awaken that person to the focus, the intention, the intentionality that should be done. There's times to be spontaneous in post and in interactions on social media. There totally should. I factor that in. It's actually factored into my 90-day plan. Be spontaneous. But there should be regimented strategy that allows you the flexibility to be more spontaneous, that allows you to have a focused thought. Because oftentimes, you're guilty of it. Let's just be real. I think we've talked about it before, where you have a day, and that one day there's just so much creativity, and it's just
when flowing. I work out, my mind's free and I got the blood going. You're right. Sometimes I'll do 3 posts and you're like,
whoa, hey,
maybe that's too much for one afternoon.
Yeah, turn down the fire hose on me. I'm trying to still soak in the first one.
I wish LinkedIn had a scheduler, to be honest, because I don't have a great place to put those. And I did buy a license to iFit, but I haven't taught myself how to use it. So I don't know. But it's an issue sometimes, for sure. No, I like leaving room for spontaneity, but also not overwhelming your audience. I think that's it's a very wise statement.
Yeah.
You've noticed probably that my posts are a little less frequent lately because obviously I'm working now. And I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if that's okay. It's what I can do. At least it's authentic. It's literally like, because I will not post during work hours, right? Will not do it ever. Because I will honor my workplace. But I like to post. So I'm trying to do it at night, but by then maybe I have family stuff. So it's not, I've actually missed a few days, which is weird for me. But I know I like what you're doing. So you're actually offering tangible, chargeable, maybe pre-chargeable, at least the things that are on your quote, like your plans, actually offering that as a value added. That's really cool. Question for you.
Yeah.
Have you thought in your outreach to potential customers and prospects, have you thought about offering any stories? Or have you done that yet?
Like testimonials?
Yeah, testimonial. Yeah, sure.
I could.
That could be a certain step. That could be a step
it
for
totally
sure.
could. Mm-hmm. It could be. To me, a testimonial would be an early on step. Testimonials don't make, and maybe it's just me, and I haven't done enough thought on it, but testimonials to me don't move the needle for me. If somebody's trying to move me, sway me one way, I think you can kind of have a vague testimonial early on in the process, saying, and then what happens is your testimonial should get more and more specific, geared towards an individual, and so I need to know your pain points. If I do know your pain points, then I can give you a testimonial that's geared towards that, so there's relatability. Otherwise, you're going to lose me, and quite frankly, you could offend me if you try to give me a testimonial that doesn't touch my pain points, you could actually lose me as a client or as a potential prospect, because then you're telling me you don't understand me. So that's where I think you can. But for me, basically, what I'm doing is I'm moving the needle to create desperation, show the vast amount of wisdom, knowledge, and insights that's out there that should be used, and then basically trying to portray the need at the same time, and to create the desperation of I need assistance, or this is bigger, more than I can put on my plate. And so then at that point in time, then now I can tailor all these things to you.
Like I love it. Listen, I'm really excited about this topic. Totally serious. So let me tell you what I'm thinking about. I think so. I have territory planning meetings tomorrow with my own company. I've got like two or three out of my 5 groups, and I'm going to talk about this concept.
You should.
You know what I mean? And I think I want to use some of these ideas to build. So I have to take some notes here in a minute. But I like this general idea. Let's talk about if these guys wanted to build their business, okay? And by the way, I know, I think TK, my friend TK's dad might be on. So hi, thanks for listening and watching, or what, I'm not sure which format you're watching. His dad,
it doesn't matter.
But I want to let you know I'm praying for you, by the way, for the job need. And some of the stuff, TK's dad, she hasn't told me your name, sorry. So you're just TK's dad. But some of the things that we're talking about, that Beastmode and I are talking about right now, are actually very applicable to a job search. Because when I was posting like crazy during my job search, I was posting partly inspirational things as much as I could find inspirational things, but I was also posting things that highlighted my sales ability, because I was going for my next sales role. And so that's what you do, is you help, like Beastmode was talking about, you basically create a desperation. It's kind of strong language, so I'm trying to get my head around it, but I know what you're saying, and I kind of like it because it has color to it.
Yeah.
But I literally did this to help me get a job, and I got serious responses. I had two CEOs actually reach out to me for revenue operations related jobs, and no, I had two or three CEOs, I don't know, reach out to me with very serious jobs due to my posting. Okay. So I think whether it's TK's dad, or whether you're trying to build, or you're an entrepreneur or a realtor, I think there's 2 kinds of major posting categories, right? The kind that I was talking about to help with my job search was in category expertise that you're posting to the community to help out. And you kind of post it as in a faith way to say, I will create, as you said, that desperation, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, that you create a demand, okay? But then what you're doing is you're personalizing that at scale, as Gary Vee would say, right? You're scaling the unscalable, because you're providing those tidbits, not just in sort of the channel, but also with one-to-one direct messages in that mixed outreach format, providing some of your best content in a sort of a series, in kind of a planned series, and creating the desperation in a personal application.
Yeah, because you can do what I'm doing and it come across as inauthentic, and it can come across as almost spammy. And that's the exact opposite that I want to go for, which is why it takes a little longer.
Yeah.
Because again, there's a content, and then there's a personal touch in between. So I'm never hitting double content. I'm always making sure there's a personal touch in between there, because again, I want you to know that it's about you. I'm trying to help you. I want to provide something for you. And regardless if you're a client of mine or not, it's about you.
Awesome.
And that I see you. I see what you're doing. I see what you're posting. I'm not just, you're not just a person on a list, you know? And what happens is, what I've found is that it increases the awareness and engagement of the heart. I think a lot of people truly will go back and reread what I've sent once it hits their heart about the personality of this type of outreach. And I feel like I've seen it.
Here's what it'd be interesting to hear how you've seen it, because from my experience, the heart is like number 3 on the list. It's in there. I think it's in there. Actually, I know it's in there because I have had examples of people who were just customers love them. So I think heart is in there. But I will say insights is number 1, and then heart's pretty far down compared to insights. So the great thing is you're doing both.
Yeah, I think though, in this market, what's setting people apart is heart. And so you can have quality content, but if you don't have a heart, then you're a dime a dozen against everybody else in your industry. And I know that's something that I've struggled with for a long time. That's part of what kept me from being an entrepreneur for a long time, is what separates me. I'm not the only guy out here who's talking about branding or social media or about business development. I mean, seriously, type any of those 3 things in LinkedIn, and you're gonna have a million people pop up. And so what separates me? What separates me from the people who go through John Maxwell's School of Business, or go through Howard Partridge's School of Business, or whatever, and everybody's cranking out the same stuff, and it's the heart. And so you're providing quality content at a value, but then you're adding a heart component in there that shows there's some vulnerability, there's some authenticity, there's already good faith, good skin on my end, because I'm giving you content that probably I shouldn't give you.
I think you're probably more right than I believe right now. I think because my experience is not that. Because I ran an account management team, and I found that we were nice and sent cookies and called to check on them, and like I felt like that stuff was very minor, had a very minor effect. But what really was insane was we provided this insights program that showed them things they hadn't seen and gave them new ways of thinking, and that was like explosive. Like I have statistics that are no one would believe, actually. However, I think the reason why I think you might be right is because I saw that this summer with my posting, is that because I did post with heart, because I did care about people, I'm not just trying to get a job, I was really trying to offer value. I think you're not wrong, because I did see evidence that it was touching some hearts.
Yeah, and
so I think you're right.
I don't want it to come across at all like I'm saying heart is valued higher than insights, like clear insights and value. I mean, obviously cost is what I'm talking about with value. I don't want to say it's higher, but what it does is it can be a soaker hose at the bottom.
I love that analogy.
That when everybody else is peppering emails and in-mails and being intrusive, I'm just sprinkling a little love. I'm just sprinkling a little bit of engagement that's different and that's unique. And then what happens is then you're the one who goes back and you find the insights and you find it, and it touches you differently, because now from a faith perspective, now your heart is softened to receive.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes there's a beat down process where you got to beat down the door. Everybody's got a quality.
I think the other reason why you might be right is because I saw somebody post something about hiring women on Women's Day, or supporting women or something, which is like, I mean, with 2 daughters, like I get it, like it's so valid, right? And also being in sales, I don't know if you know this, but women actually crush men. Men do well, don't get me wrong. The elite men do very, very well, but like the women really do well. And then, the men are kind of in the pack after that. So the way someone posted something so rude, and it was like F word, and it was like really just gross. And I'm like, it's like, it was crazy because this person had the insights. Like we should totally celebrate women. They had the right message, but the heart was really kind of gross. And I think they're just trying to shock and make a point, or maybe they're trying to get likes. I don't know. But it was like, it kind of was a turnoff, even though the message was good. And there's so many things that I clicked like or support that day on International Women's Day, and I couldn't like and support theirs, even though I knew where that individual was coming from was positive. It lacked the heart because it was like very vulgar for that platform, just extremely, to say the effort. And that person overall posts really good stuff, but I think they got a little bit ahead of their skis. So yeah, I think you're not wrong. I'm glad you challenged us a little bit today about posting insights with heart as part of your business development and social media and your branding and all that stuff. And I hope my story of the fact that if you post just shocking stuff, you know, it could easily backfire on you as well.
Yeah, it very well. It can. There's plenty of stories about social media where people post shocking stuff and it backfires.
Recently, even.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, so I want to kind of circle back to one thing, and then whatever you want to
Yes.
cover, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Because I have a date. Apparently, I'm going to Fort Worth tonight
Heck yeah.
to look at furniture, so that's cool.
Okay.
Anyway, the thing I wanted to talk about was kind of circling back to what are some things that, whether it's TK's dad looking for a job, right?
Yeah.
Or whether it's a business owner or an entrepreneur, a realtor, you know, whatever, you know, or a career person, you know, what are some things they can tap into for postings, for personal outreach and business development? You know, what are some categories? And I think we should both try to chip in on this, but what are
Yeah.
some of those categories that they can draw from to post or use for their value added sales efforts?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I know we've talked about it several times, but there's always a vulnerability aspect. But again, if you're able to, so TK's dad, you're looking for a job, and you know, there's a lot of people that are there with you. And so I know that Howie and I will be in prayers for you.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
for me is I want people to understand, you know, when they're coming to my profile, I want them to, especially, this is not a new person, this is somebody that I'm engaging with, is I want them to understand there's content coming in and that it comes in kind of cycles, you know. And so right now I'm on a daily cycle because I'm doing a 365 days of thoughts, quotes, and phrases. And people are looking forward to that. And I purposefully am not posting it at the same time today, because those who are engaging in and are looking forward to those and have liked those, I want them to be looking forward at any time throughout the day. You know, but there are certain content that I want that to be scheduled content. I want that to come. You know, we've talked about Tip Tuesday, or we've talked about, you know, Workday Wednesday, or we've talked about, you know, Thoughts Thursday, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're outreaching and so you're pushing, so TK's dad, you're looking for a job, there should be a Thoughts Thursday where you're dropping just wisdom and knowledge. I've learned this in my capacity, and I'm looking for this type of job, and this is how I would use this thought in this type of role. And so I'm giving you, this is what you would pay to sit. This is in a 30-minute interview. You're going to ask me this question. I've just saved you 30 minutes, you know? And so I'm doing you a favor. And that's how you have to look at it. If you're out there and you're looking to grow your brand or grow your business, or, you know, if you have a small business owner, you know, whatever it is. And so there's certain times where you're just showing the value of who you are, what you have. And that needs to be, you know, kind of weekly, where whatever day of the week it is, doesn't matter, whatever time, you know, whenever people are engaging your stuff, you need to have that. And then for me, lastly, there needs to be a vulnerability aspect. You need to be able to share failures. You need to be able to share stumbles. You need to be able to ask honest questions about yourself. There's times where you can ask an open-ended question. I'm seeking insight and value, but it's about me, and it's personal, not personal. It's vulnerable. Remember, personal and vulnerable aren't the same thing. We don't want to post personal stuff. I don't need to talk about me and my spouse having a fight. That doesn't go social media. But I can talk about me and a coworker, and the fact that, you know, this is how I handled this situation. Could I have handled it better? I'm seeking advice, you know. So
Good. I'll add a couple things.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit earlier, but obviously for Beastmode's business, it's not hard to go check, just go keyword search DFW painters and see what their website looks like and see what their social media feed looks like. It's not hard to go come up with, some best practices that people are not following. Go look at mistakes and write down mistakes, and then that becomes a post. That's easy, right? It's a great little source of free advice. And you could also reach out to those individuals as well while you're at it and say, hey, by the way, I noticed this here, you might want to think about that. Happy to help you. It's kind of what we do, but if not, then, good luck. Best wishes. But point out what you saw. So that could be an interesting thing. Not every business, like I'm in cybersecurity, that I can't, it may be hard to do that. I can't just see where their cybersecurity posture is weak, right? So that's when you get into, you can, in your outreach and your business development and your relationship building, you can say, hey, I've seen these, 3 or 4 things. I'll just make up, a couple right now. Like I've seen these 3 things several times in the past few weeks. Just thought you should know. So maybe, if you have that issue, you may want to consider, locking that area of your business down if it's not locked down or whatever. So sharing, the failings that you've seen from others is a great source of content. Why did a customer buy, right? You had a customer who bought. What was the reason, right? Turn that into, a little, it's not really a testimonial, but it's a use case or something. Turn that into some content that, you can send a DM about, or you can post about, or both, probably both. And then I think the last thing I would say is try to educate people on the pains that you solve. And then you're helping them, but then you're also helping to associate by you posting this stuff or DMing and sharing and emailing and all that, doing whatever your hopefully a combination prospecting motion is, as my friend Patrick told me recently. Apparently there's a book, by the way, called Combo Prospecting.
Sure.
So Patrick's done a lot of what you're talking about, and it's in a book, I guess. So people will check it out. But anyway, for some more, the last thing I'll say on the content is, educate people on the problems. And then when they have that problem, they'll associate you with somebody who knows something about that issue, right? And so what's great about it is, like, you don't have to be pushy, because just by teaching, you're associating yourself with that category. And when they need that category. That's why there's just not a real reason to be pushy. And that's why it just, I don't know if you've ever felt this way, being sold to, but it doesn't feel great, but when somebody's helping you, that does feel great. So anyway, that's all I had.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's
not
so
bad
much
for no plan. We just ripped.
Yeah, we did. Well, I don't even know what we're gonna call this episode or how this correlates into what we've been doing.
Let's call it Spitball Business Development.
Okay.
Or some other fun title. Although it's hard to beat our title of The World is on Fire, or whatever it was.
Yeah, the world's on fire and we're all gonna die. Yes.
Greatest podcast title ever.
Hey, it was so true. And it still is kind of true. The world's smoldering, and I'm severely bandaged.
You're going to be great. You're going to be awesome. You're going to be better than okay. Hey, man, thanks for chatting a little bit, and it's fun. Obviously, I am being summoned to go to Fort Worth, so hopefully we'll have safe travels and a good night. But God bless you and our listeners and TK's dad. Everybody pray for TK's dad. He did a wonderful job. His daughter is unbelievable on my team, and just a joy to everybody that her life touches. We're proud of her, and I hope you guys all have a great evening on Beast Mode. God bless.